I wanted to get your perspective on this because this was a major announcement that came out earlier today. It looks like we will finally get a second opinion in all of this with the Georgia Court of Appeals regarding whether Fani Willis should be disqualified from the case or not. What's your reaction to the news that we learned this morning?
Well, the odor of mendacity is a powerful thing, isn't it? This is the case where the Georgia Court of Appeals now, in my opinion, I believe they are primed to remove Fani Willis from this case because, look, if you've got this appearance of impropriety or this actual improper relationship or not to mention all of the improper, unlawful, unethical, out of court statements that she's made that tend to slime not only Donald Trump, but all of the other defendants in the case. Remember, she went on the church of the Big Bethel AME Church in Atlanta, right in the heart of the jury pool, and called him all sorts of names. And she did it again the other day, by the way, but the judge has already told her that that was improper. I think that the Court of Appeals, they watch the news too, and I think they basically said, we've had enough. I think they're going to pull her from this case because, look, you can't get rid of the odor of mendacity unless you remove from the case that which causes the odor. And in this case, that would be Fani Willis and her myriad of decisions that, needless to say, raise a lot of eyebrows, but probably perhaps border on the unethical or unlawful.
Yeah, and I would have to agree with you on that. I do think that the appeals court is going to hopefully get this thing right. But again, the process for it, let's say we do get our way and she is disqualified, that doesn't mean the charges are going away. Is that correct, Phil? We would just get a new prosecutor involved here. And that would be up to, would that be up to the governor?
No, it could go a couple of different ways. Now, the appellants, they're now officially appellants because they've been given the right to appeal this. They are asking not only that she be disqualified, but the case be dismissed because they say, and I think they've got a very strong argument, particularly on the grounds of what we call forensic misconduct. This is the out-of-court statements where prosecutors are not supposed to publicly slime defendants they are currently prosecuting, but she did. She's created, I think, such a structurally unsound political case or criminal case that it just can't stand up under its own weight. So they've asked for it to be dismissed, but in the alternative, they've asked at a minimum for her and her entire office. And it's important to remember, if she's gone, everybody that works for her is gone because they would bear sort of the same taint, if you will, that she does. So if she's gone, everybody's gone. In Georgia, if that happens, it's referred to a state agency called the Prosecuting Attorneys Council, and it's up to them to decide whether and who to send the case to. They don't, in other words, it's not anything that happens automatically. The big problem that they're going to have is finding another prosecutor who not only wants to take the case, but who has the time and the resources. Because remember, in all likelihood, if another prosecutor were to pick up this and look at it, and they decided they wanted to go forward, they would have to start all over again because all of the work that Willis has put into it, if it is so tainted by this odor of mendacity, so to speak, and this appearance of impropriety, if not actual impropriety, they'd have to start all over to try to clean it up. And that's a gargantuan task that I don't know that any other DA in the state would want to take on.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I hope that they can find someone who wants to take that on. I mean, they made this a RICO case, and according to everyone I've asked, RICO really doesn't apply in local counties. It's mainly a federal issue, and so it was interesting to see them apply this to all of these defendants. And it's heartbreaking because, well, I mean, a lot of these people were just door knockers. They weren't people who were high profile individuals. They were just people low man on the totem pole who they brought in and made defendants in this case. And so I hope for their sake that the legal nightmare soon will end. I wanted to bring up Nathan Wade, which is her ex-lover, apparently, special prosecutor. He did a sit down with ABC News, an exclusive sit down with them, and he kind of went through their relationship and some other, I guess, qualifications that he considered that he had personally. I want to play this clip of him detailing what his romantic relationship was with Fani and how he doesn't think it was an issue during all of their processing, whether it was the investigation or whether it was the indictment process that they took up. So let's take a listen to Nathan Wade saying it himself.
During the course of the investigation, nights, weekends, evenings, mornings. I can't tell you how much time that we spent together. We got closer and closer and closer. Workplace romances are as American as apple pie. It happens to everyone, but it happened to the two of us.
Do you regret it?
I regret that that private matter became the focal point of this very important prosecution. I hate that my personal life has begun to overshadow the true issues in the case.
But at some point, once that bond is there, and if democracy is on the line, as has been described, do you say, maybe we pause this until after the case is over?
Absolutely, absolutely. I'll concede that could have been an approach, but when you are in the middle of it, these feelings are developing, and you get to a point to where the feelings are so strong that you start to want to do things that really are none of the public's concern. It wasn't lost upon the two of us that things could bleed over into the case and start to affect it. And so we made the adult-like decision to do what we did.
Do what we did. What do you mean by that?
In terms of protecting the integrity of the case, keeping the rest of the office out of our personal and private lives, and at the point that we decided to discontinue the relationship, we did.
Okay, so he's not being very honest there. The relationship itself was a secret until the defendants got a hold of it and presented it to the judge. And so he's making it seem like they did some type of noble thing, and they didn't. And the only reason why he stepped away from the case was because the judge forced him to do so. You're the attorney involved in all of it, involved in following this case, I should say. Have you ever seen anything like this? Because he's making it seem like it's something that's benign and happens quite often, and there's really no ethical issues here. But what's your takeaway from it, Phil?
Yeah, he says it happens to everybody. I mean, that's news to me. It's, I don't know that this is the kind of thing that happens to everybody. Workplace romances don't happen to everybody. They certainly happen to some people. Yeah. But to say that it happens to everybody is a stretch. The big thing that he said there that caught my attention, he said that and in court, they had said that they ended their relationship before the indictment, which I believe was very early August of 2023. And in that interview, he used the phrase late 2023. And that calls directly into question more about the truthfulness or perhaps lack thereof of any in-court testimony under oath by not only him, but by the district attorney herself. So, the first rule when you're trying to get out of a hole is to stop digging. And I guess he didn't have the benefit of someone, giving him good advice, which is just to keep your head down, stay low. Don't go out and make any kind of waves, particularly when you've got, this issue right now that was pending before the Court of Appeals. When he gave that interview a few days ago, they hadn't ruled yet whether they were going to even take the appeal. But by doing that, it keeps the issue back in the news. And of course, these judges watch the news. They must have watched that interview. And you've got to ask yourself, you wonder if that didn't have something to do with the ruling that we got today.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, Phil. Phil, thank you so much for joining us today. We greatly appreciate your time. And I wanted to also remind our audience, you're the host of Inside the Law. Head over to his YouTube page, take a look. You give great insight on cases just like this and other cases. And I highly recommend our audience go check that out. Phil, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Always happy to be here.
Thank you. If you enjoyed that interview, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. If you're watching on Rumble or YouTube, give us a thumbs up, of course. And if you're listening on any of the popular podcasting platforms, make sure you give us a 5-star review. You could do so for every single episode. We greatly appreciate it when you do so. And if you'd like to support our show, you can head over to supportbree.com. That's supportbree.com. That's where you can directly support our show by becoming a monthly donor or by giving us a one-time donation. You can pick the dollar amount, set it to anything you like. We appreciate all donations. And again, folks, that's supportbree.com. Now we'll be right back after this.
To celebrate the new year, we're having the biggest sale ever on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save 60% on our Goose Down comforters, the best comforters ever. They go perfectly with our MyPillow bed sheets and duvet covers. Save 25% on our brand new kitchen towels. They're made with the same technology as our famous My Towels. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. Our seasonal flannel sheets are finally in. You save up to 50% and they sell out fast every year, so order now. They're truly the best flannel sheets you'll ever sleep on. Or save up to 80% on all our clearance items. And this is where it gets even better. For a limited time, your entire order ships absolutely free. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use that promo code to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. And for a limited time, your order ships absolutely free.
And if you enjoyed that segment, make sure you hit that like button. And if you want to see the news before it becomes the news, you have to subscribe to our channel. And well, if you have a liberal friend that you're looking to save, make sure you share this content with them.